Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, a WoW Q&A. Hearthstone unveils a new expansion. Everything is broken in the studio. Overwatch Season 4 begins. And so much more as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Everything is half off here at the studio. Nope, it's half working. That's what it is.
Just my pants.
From the Battlenet News broadcast bunker in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is February 28, 2017. It is now way later than I intended to start. It's 10:34 in the p.m. Central Time. Thanks so much for joining us from all around the Blizzard universe. My name is Pat Krane. I am your host of the show. And as always, we have one player here, at least. And tonight, the player is from Met and the Payload podcast over on BlizzPro.com. It's John Horstmann. Hey, John.
Pat, it's getting a little late, getting a little past my bedtime here.
I know.
We already start late, and I give you hell for it every week. But yeah. This is getting kind of ridiculous.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good for you. I'm sure of it.
It is?
I'm sure of it.
That's contrary to what my grandmother told me.
Well,
and my grandma's never been wrong, so
just trust. Trust.
Oh,
trust.
Okay.
Trust.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is good for me.
Yeah, it's all good for you.
Great.
So hi everybody, and thanks so much for joining us. It's only a 2-person show tonight. Just letting you know. That's the way it's going to go tonight. That's the way it's rolling. That's totally fine. We don't actually have, there's not a ton of there's a couple of super important things that are going on in the world of all the different Blizzard games. Not a ton of stuff for WoW. So we thought we might do this little news breaky type of thing where we catch you up on all the news, what's going on around Blizzard games. John, As we normally do, let's start out with kind of where we're at and what we're doing in the various games. So, John, what's going on with you, man?
Well, the Hearthstone is super just tilted on its head right now. So lots of Overwatch.
Awesome.
Because in Hearthstone, I am scared for my life when it comes to trying to win a game. So
really,
yeah.
What's going on?
And then even right now as we speak, there is about 2.5 hours left in the in this season for February.
Right.
And earlier today they pushed a patch with nerfs. And
what?
Yeah. So Small Time Buccaneer and Spirit Claws, two of the most popular cards in the game, and for Shaman specifically, just were nerfed. So many competitive players' plans have been changed as far as how they're going to compete.
Sure.
EU didn't get the nerf at the same time NA does. Mobile didn't get the patch right away. And so everybody who's good at the game is running with their hair on fire.
And everybody that's bad at the game doesn't realize what's going on.
That's why I choose to not be good at the game, Pat. You nailed it. You nailed it. A-. Good job.
Here's what I've been doing the last couple 6 months on Hearthstone. And it's only because Legion is so awesome right now. Is that I don't have all the time in the world for Hearthstone and some of the other games that I normally like to play a lot of because Legion is so good. And so I go to 20 and I'm done. I try to do some of my dailies, some of those daily things, but really it's just get to 20, get that card back, and then hope that next month my schedule will clear up a little bit.
It's also how I play blackjack. Get to 20 and I'm done.
Yeah.
Every
and
time.
You just call it.
Consistently.
Yeah.
You win about 93% of the time. It feels great. It's great.
Right.
Don't look up that statistic, by the way, Carl. I see you doing that right now.
Totally made up. So
alternate facts.
So I've been gone pretty consistently over the last couple of weeks. And I think we talked about it on the last show a little bit, on the last big show. But this last weekend I was in Orlando. Okay. And the reason that I'm bringing it up is because, number one, I've written a book for podcasters called Podcast Launchpad Quick Start Guide to Podcasting, and it will be launched, I think, next week. It will actually go out to people next week, and I'm hoping
big applause.
I'll do a small applause.
That's a big applause, Pat. That's a big deal.
That's a small applause.
You wrote a book, and our bets were if Pat writes a book, it would be a coloring book. So hey,
that's
awesome.
The coloring book idea is still out there. It's a
podcast launchpad coloring book.
It's a great story. It's a great story. No, but the book is going to be coming out next week. So if you guys out there, I just want to throw this out there. If you guys out there are interested in finding out more about especially the tech side of podcasting, if you have some interest in podcasting and you want to know more about the tech side of it, go to podcastlaunchpad.com, sign up, because when it comes out, it will be totally free for those guys that sign up. But I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to stay that way. So sign up now. Sign up. And if you have a friend or a family member that's thinking about podcasting or is getting into recording of any kind, really, this might help them. So sign up over at podcastlaunchpad.com, totally free for you and me. So I had to rhyme.
Making it up as you go. I
had to rhyme.
Yeah.
No, but I was down in Florida, and I was there for a podcast conference. But then we also got to meet up with a bunch of people from the community, and it was really cool. I got to meet Navix and Devona and who else? Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on all names. Marissa, and
you should accept an award at an Oscars.
And right.
Yeah, it's exactly what they do too.
Right.
It was great.
And Part Shark, not Sharku, it's Part Shark. And several other people from around the community. It was really, really great. So nice. Thank you to everybody that showed up to the Cloak and Blaster in Orlando.
Was it the Star Wars themed bar? Was that what it was?
No. It was just a D&D type of bar. Although they did have a stand-up of Chewbacca, like a little stand-up poster thingy. So
got it.
I don't know. Most of it was D&D based, and then Chewbacca.
And Chewbacca.
And Chewbacca was there. All right. So we've got some stuff to. Anything else you want to talk about before we do the show?
No, let's do a show.
I feel so behind though. So I mean, you're gonna probably have to catch me up on a lot of this stuff.
Literally the only reason why I'm here.
Right. All right. So let's get to the news. All right. First up, last week, Ian Hazzikostas and Josh Allen, aka Lore, held a Q&A where Josh asked the questions from the community, and Ian Hazzikostas answered them very, very briefly, like he normally does. No, he talks a lot. He talks a lot, and very well too, much better than I do. John, was there anything in particular that stuck out to you in this Q&A at all?
Well, I mean, in the end, it's a lot of, I think, reiteration of kind of what we've been hearing for quite a while. They were, and to your point, you're right. Ian Hazzikostas is not a fast answerer. So they posted a wonderful kind of summary blog of the big high notes in what the Q&A was.
Right.
And lots of kind of just, normal stuff here. Like, why aren't the Balance of Power skins account wide?
Yep.
Because we want them to be a per character award.
Right.
What's the reason behind making second traits on relics another layer of RNG? Like, hey, it makes a lot more viability to different
And I don't know if you've noticed this, but World of Warcraft has become RNGville. I mean, it really has. This is the whole. I mean, it's always been kind of based on RNG, right? I mean, and by total chance, you get X, Y, or Z stats on your armor, and we've kind of dealt with this. And I think this was since Cataclysm, really, where it started to kind of. They wanted to get a longer tail from different raids. Especially at the end of an expansion, they wanted a longer tail, so then they would give more RNG. They would give you more randomness for the different stats that were on particular items. And now it's become all RNG. It's become all randomness, like everything is random. And so now I'm like, so if everything is random, does that mean that the tail actually gets shorter? Because now people are just like, screw it. I don't care anymore.
I don't like Pat.
Yeah.
I've been playing Hearthstone for a long time, so I know what RNG is.
Mm-hmm.
I like the term earned randomness. It's randomness that you have to earn for the most part.
Fancy talk.
Committed. I know, right? Look at me.
Yeah.
That was a very coherent statement from the young kick tripod over there.
Actually, earned randomness is what I get when I beat a world boss, and then I roll on it, and I get mythic gold. Ugh.
Actually, earned randomness is when you eat a bag of Skittles, go to the bathroom next time, and you have to guess the color. Earned randomness. Earned randomness. Anyways, yeah. This is going to be a very interesting show.
Taste the rainbow. Yep. Go ahead.
There is definitely an aspect. There's definitely RNG driven elements in here, but you can't really say purely RNG with pity timers built in. With so many people. Like I was on the higher end of people not getting a legendary for the number of quote unquote kill points that I had on my account. Yep. And even then I'm like, honestly, if I got a legendary too much before then, I don't know if I would have felt that I would have really earned that, and I just stumbled across it. I like earned randomness when it comes to a lot of these changes in WoW. Inevitably, with numbers and statistics, it means some of you are going to get screwed. Worse than your friends. You're going to have more kill points. It's going to be later. You're going to have less legendaries. That is statistically always going to happen. There's always going to be somebody who is the least lucky, even for the amount that they've earned. But for the most part, the grand scheme of people are going to fall well within that earned randomness kind of field.
Sure.
So, yeah.
One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting out of the Q&A, however, was that for patch 7.2, they're changing the we were talking about legendaries and kind of the chance to get one. So if you are, so let me see if I got this straight. So I think what Ian was saying was, if you're a fire mage with a pyroblast, bracers, and scorch belt, you'll have a higher chance to receive a legendary when your loot specialization is set to frost. So if it's set to like your the ones that you don't have legendaries for, there's a higher chance of getting legendaries for your off spec. Essentially, is that correct? Is that kind of what Ian was saying?
Right. So what the initial question is, are there plans to reduce the large barrier to spec swapping presented by legendaries? Mm-hmm. And the answer is, in 7.15, your chance to receive a legendary is based on the total number of legendaries you've gotten, regardless of spec.
Yep.
in 7.2, we're changing that algorithm to only count legendaries with bonuses that apply to your spec. So, Pat, your logic would, despite your best efforts, be correct.
So if you're playing the game and you want more legendary loot, maybe switch your loot to your off spec.
As long as you're going to play that off spec, because
you better play.
You're not going to play that off spec.
Right.
Like, cool, I got 3 more legendaries for what I'm never going to play.
Yep.
Like Tatfa on his DPS druid right now. That's how he's feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not playing DPS druid anymore. I'm just playing support. That's all I'm going to do from now on.
Fair.
I'm going to heal, and then when I can't heal, I'll tank.
Yep.
I'm loving that stuff.
They also did say, too, that they are going to be bringing up underperforming legendaries. They've already done quite a few of those in 7.1.5.
Yep.
But in 7.2, there's going to be even more of that. And then,
nice.
Of course, the number one question asked to people who tune in for these Q&As but don't seem to want to play the game is, will there be more catch-up mechanics for artifact knowledge in 7.2? And of course, yes. Yes, there will be. 7.2, more catch-up mechanics.
Everybody is...
you can go up to 35 on alternate characters once you've got up to 40.
Yep.
Yay.
So there you go. There's going to be more catch-up stuff for you to do. That's cool.
People say we don't talk about WoW.
We do. We talk about it a lot, usually. On this show, it's going to be a much shorter conversation, though. Was there anything else in the Q&A that really stood out to you? I know that I watched it, and it seemed like it was a lot of the same old ground that we've kind of covered quite a bit of, anyway. Maybe some more technical stuff for 7.2, and that's still in development, so I don't know exactly how far we want to go into that rabbit hole. But another thing that I thought was kind of interesting was toward the end of that Q&A, Ian Hazakostas was talking about the world first raiders and kind of the burnout of raiding and how that works, and as we've discussed it on this show, you get certain raid leaders that feel like the time that's invested in WoW isn't worth it to them anymore, and so then you will find that guilds will go away. The players will find other teams and kind of get sorted around. And they were talking about how what we were talking about last week, which is the AP grind, right? And how the AP grind really hasn't worked the way that they have wanted it to because of the way that players are using it, in the sense that they're grinding AP all day. So they're doing Maw of Souls over and over and over again. They're doing hundreds of runs of Maw of Souls, and that's not fun. Imagine that.
Speak for yourself. I love running Maw of Souls.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of grind. And Ian said something that kind of what I said last week, which was, you gotta, as a raid leader, you have to manage your team. You have to manage your expectations of your team. And hopefully with 7.2, when they roll that stuff out, it won't become this big, massive grind that everybody feels like they need to roll through like right away. It's going to be diminishing returns on all of that stuff. So it's going to be like, hey, you know what? If you get it, you'll get it. And that's great. Hopefully we can kind of calm down a little bit with the grind stuff. But Ian kind of reflected what I was saying. Raid leaders, manage your teams, manage your expectations, and try not to run everybody in the ground. I thought that was I thought that was interesting. So
yes, unless you're getting me loot, in which case, onward, soldiers.
Right.
Onward.
Right. I suggest that all of you guys out there watch the Q&A, watch it all the way through. Don't just read the TLDR on MMO Champion or Wowhead or even the post from Blizzard, because it doesn't really cover everything that they talked about. And I think that there was some really good stuff, especially towards the end, when they were talking about Burnout and kind of what's coming up for 7.2. So interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But there's some bigger news in some other games, so maybe we should get to that. Here we go.
Well met.
Oh, that must mean Hearthstone, right, John?
Ooh, yes, sir.
What's going on?
We've got a new expansion coming soon to a Android, PC, iOS, Mac client near you. Journey into Ungoro.
Here, let me play the thing.
All right.
Then, are you ready? Then let's journey into Ungoro Crater.
Ooh.
Right?
That sounds fun. So
it does.
The explorers are back, and now their expedition has led them to Ungoro Crater with ginormous beasts and plants that will kill you, right?
We recorded Well Met last night, and actually the pre-show we had the Jurassic Park theme and the Good Dinosaur theme and Land Before Time themes, and that was our pre-show music. I'm so excited.
Did you say Land Before Thyme? Now, did you did you mean the herb? Land Before Time.
Yes, Thyme.
Thyme.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So Land Before Time. It was a lot of fun. Very nostalgic. I love dinosaurs. I mean, who doesn't love dinosaurs? If you were a young toddler boy and you had something that you liked, it was astronauts, dinosaurs, and sharks, basically, which is basically a dinosaur. So, yes,
robots.
I love dinosaurs. Yeah. Robots. Yep, that's true.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Yep.
Leading the way. Yeah. So,
Pitfall. Video games.
Power Rangers.
Yep.
Can't wait for that movie to come out, by the way. So, yes. Anyways, I love dinosaurs. So, Journey into Ungoro is going to have kind of a dinosaur type theme. Cool. But more importantly, we got a lot of new content coming to us through March and into early April when it launches. So yes, first, it is launching in early April. So we've got about a month or so to go. There's going to be 135 new cards, 2 new legendaries per class, 1 minion, and 1 spell. Whoa! Yes, that's right. Legendary spells have been introduced into Hearthstone.
That's kind of cool.
In a format called Quest, where we're going to talk about in a second.
Okay.
There's going to also be 5 neutral legendaries on top of that. So doing your math, 9 classes times 2, Pat? 9 times 2?
That would be if
18.
Boy, carry
18. That's why you never do math on a podcast.
Math
Figure
is
that
hard.
out ahead of time.
Right.
And then plus 5 neutral legendaries, 23 new legendaries coming in.
Mm-hmm.
New card reveals are going to begin starting March 17th. Ooh. So stay tuned to your favorite blogs, community fan sites, podcasts, because those cards will get revealed starting then. But here's the exciting stuff, like the actual changes that we're going to see. Number 1, we've got a new tribe. Tribe is the little keyword that's in the very bottom middle of the card between the health and the mana.
Okay.
Pirate is a tribe. Beast is a tribe. Murloc is a tribe.
Gotcha.
The new one is Elemental. So existing cards like Ragnaros the Fire Lord, Alakir the Wind Lord, Dust Devil will be converted to elementals, as well as we will get new cards that will have the elemental keyword, like Pyros. Pyros is a legendary mage card. It's a 2 mana 2/2. And when your opponent kills it, it goes back to your hand as a 6-mana 6/6. When you play it and your opponent kills it again, it comes back as a 10-mana 10/10.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. So that's one of the new legendaries that they came out with. Really exciting stuff. There's also a new keyword called adapt. And there's also a chapter in Pat's book, Podcast Launchpad.
Oh, boy.
Should be, maybe. Adapting when you have unexpected twists and turns, like a crazy co-host who's really excited to talk about Hearthstone. And what adapt does is whenever you trigger the keyword, the one card that we've seen with the keyword adapt is called a Verdant Longneck, and it's a battle cry. So for this one, if you played like Bran Bronzebeard, and then this Verdant Longneck, you would adapt twice, but you get a kind of an augmentation is the best way that I could put it. To that card. There are 10 different adaptations to the cards, including like giving it Divine Shield, making it poisonous, which is what they have changed. Certain cards that used to be whenever you attack or deal damage with this minion, kill that minion. It's now called poisonous. So you can get that +1/+1, +3 attack, +3 health. Those are the ones that immediately come off the top of my head, but a pretty cool way. And it shows up as a discover mechanic. So when you play an adapt card, you get the choice of 3 of those 10. So you can kind of control a little bit. Cool. So I think that's pretty cool. And last but not least, this is, I think, the exciting thing about the new expansion is quests. So there is this new legendary spell that we talked about is kind of a pseudo spell, and it's called a quest.
Okay.
The one that we have seen so far about quests is it's Awaken the Makers. It's a 1-mana spell that says quest, summon 7 Death Rattle minions. Reward, you get Amara the Warden of Hope, which is a 5-mana 8/8 taunt with a battle cry that says set your hero's health to 40. 40.
What?
Yes.
How does...
Yes.
So
the inverse Jiraxis.
Oh, man.
Right?
That sounds...
And that's the only one we've seen.
It sounds a little overpowered. Sounds pretty overpowered. So so it's really cool. We have yet to see how effective it will be, but this idea of quest is pretty cool. It shows up above your hero like a secret does for paladins, but your opponent can see it as well as yourself. So that way there's no shenanigans. Like, what are they trying to do? You know that they're getting close to that phenomenal quest reward. And so that's the big stuff with the new expansion. Okay, Pat, you gonna come back to Hearthstone with these new changes? I'll definitely try them. So I mean, you know, I've never been one of those guys to sit by the sidelines when something new comes out. I'm always trying it. So sure, I'll try it. I'm not, you know, like so like Old Gods came out. I tried it for like a week, and then I was like, you know what, Old Gods, you can just be old. That's fine. You can be over there. I'll be over here. You guys be over there. I'll just come back later. So for this, it sounds actually kind of cool, and it sounds like there's some good stuff here. So why not? Why not?
It's really interesting. We had a conversation on Met last night about you were just talking about World of Warcraft being very RNG driven. And I'm like, well, it's this controlled RNG, or what did I say? Earned randomness.
Earned randomness. Yeah.
In the same way, Hearthstone has been embracing this discover mechanic, where it's still random, right? You have 10 different adaptations, but you get to choose from 3. So the chances of you getting a good adaptation or one that's close to one that you want or need is fairly high. At the same time, you're not guaranteed the exact adaptation, so you can't just play it all willy-nilly whenever you want.
Sure.
That kind of, again, controlled randomness seems to be the way that the Hearthstone team is designing around is let's make things random and fun, but let's take out the babbling book random spell to your hand. It could be the crappiest 1-mana spell. It could be a 10-mana Pyroblast that you can launch at your opponent's face.
Yep.
Let's avoid that a little bit and say, hey, choose 3 from this more controlled card pool.
That's interesting.
And so I'm really optimistic about Hearthstone going into the next set here of kind of taming that in a little bit, still giving you that randomness, because that's fun. That is a really fun thing to watch and spectate. But at the same time, when you feel like whether you win or lose is not in your control, that's a really bad feeling.
Yeah.
And removing that as much as possible without removing the fun of, oh my God, he just got a Pyroblast from the babbling book. I think they've kind of hit the nail on the head on kind of one of the best ways to design around that.
Gotcha. So we'll be seeing more on the new cards in a couple of weeks. Looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. So 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Right.
And
March 17th.
Right. And then the thing comes out on April 1st.
They said early April,
Okay.
But typically with Hearthstone, if there's one thing that they do awesome is when they mean early something, they mean early something. Last time they said early was early December, and we got it on December 1st. All of the winter championship stuff for HCT finishes up March 26th. So the first probably won't be it because I think it's a Saturday. But like the 3rd, I think, or the 4th is Tuesday, which is normally when they patch.
Sure.
So I would expect the first Tuesday in March.
And I wouldn't in April. Is that right?
April.
April.
Yes. April.
I wouldn't expect.
Tomorrow.
I wouldn't expect the first anyway because they probably got a bunch of shenanigans planned for April 1st.
Oh yeah, the good old April Fools,
as well as they normally do.
That would be funny though.
Just launch it on April 1st.
Just a bunch of big, serious changes to their games on April Fools.
And then they go, no, this is just happening.
This is just that. And you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to touch my computer. You're going to start on fire. Did you give me a virus?
They trolled us.
What is this?
They trolled us by actually just doing things. Just doing normal things. Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be great. Anything else for Hearthstone? Probably,
we talked Spirit Claws and Small Time Buccaneer have been nerfed today, the last day of the ladder. So, sorry everybody going for that. Those top spots and those points.
Yep.
That might put a wrench in it all.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, Pat, you actually might like this. This might actually be good to just take 30 seconds to talk about. Ranked floors have been introduced in Hearthstone.
We kind of talked about this last week, right? So ranked floors are, I think we talked about this last week. I know that I talked about it.
We did talk about this last week
while I was in
live now.
Florida, but it's live now. So now it's every 5 levels. So 20, 15, 10, 5. You can't go below that once you hit it. It's kind of like they've done it with some other games and stuff. So.
Right. Well, they've even done it with Hearthstone. Right now, the only ranked floor was at 20. And once you hit Legend, you can't fall out of Legend and you can't go below 20. But now it's 15, 10, and 5, which is great because usually at rank 5, that's where I stop. But I also stop playing because I don't want to lose my rank.
Yep.
So I don't play around with new decks or do anything else because, I'm high enough to where you can't really experiment that much.
And that does interest me because then that way I can go further in, dip my toes in there and see see how the other half lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. But that's it for Hearthstone.
Okay. Well, I know that we, by the way, I should do a Heroes of the Storm update.
I can dig that.
Okay. If here's the only thing that I saw that happened this week in Heroes of the Storm. they did some balance changes. So certain characters got some love, some switching around. Lucio and who else? Rin, Varian Rin got some changes to him. Murky, big. It looked like it was sizable nerfs for Murky. He was just a little too overpowered, and now they're dialing him in, and so all that kind of good stuff. All right, now we can probably go to.
Oh, this is my jam.
Let's go to Overwatch. And John, what is going on in Overwatch?
Okay, I promise I'll make this one quicker. Number one, Season 4 begins today as of like 5 hours ago. So, hey, good luck in Season 4. I hope you all hit your goal, but in my heart, you're all Grandmasters.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's
so
nice.
there's that.
Yep.
My favorite thing in Overwatch this week was Nate Nanzer, the head of Overwatch League, did an amazing Q&A about Overwatch League. We really haven't heard about Overwatch League since it was announced at BlizzCon.
Right.
Since then, it's just kind of been quiet, but he was in Korea, did a Q&A, a lot of great new information, like about how they intend on sharing profits with team owners, where those teams are going to be located. Okay. We did finally get the confirmation that while teams are going to be city-ish centric, the players are not bound by their gender or country of origin. So we can have the Denver Bronco eSports Overwatch team can be all European dudes, and that's okay.
That's kind of nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. A lot of people were worried about that. Some people still are, because StarCraft saw this to where like all the North American teams were Korean players, because Korea is just so good, and it's hard to get behind that. But my answer to that was the 2009 Yankees were over 50% not U.S. born players, and that's the most American sport there is. So if baseball can do it, esports can do it, because the United States does definitely not own esports. So
well,
I think that's pretty cool.
Now, maybe I was reading into it a little bit, but this was an interview given in Korea, and I think it read to me like there was some concern from Koreans about locking into a city, or like where they, it seemed weird to me, and maybe it's just because they have a different perspective on esports, but they didn't really like that idea with Overwatch.
It's definitely kind of based on the culture.
Sure.
Here in North America, we are very used to the idea of city-based teams. Mm-hmm. Other cultures are not. And that's why I kind of say city-ish, because depending on the culture, it might not be just, it might not be the sole, Korean Red Bull team or whatever. It might not be that. It might just be something like Meta Athena that we have now. And there's going to be Meta Athena, but they are based in a city, and they play out of a city or a certain stadium or whatever. And that was something too, or even Nate Nanzer says, we haven't totally ruled one way or another on if city names are going to be a part of the team names.
Okay.
But there's, again, this is why we aren't going to get real Overwatch League until 2018, and we're going to get the soft opening of Overwatch League Q3 of 2017. It reminds me, Pat, in Ocean's 13, where they're going to go rob the casino, and the casino's not open yet. And it's like, well, it's a soft opening. And Saul goes,
right.
What? Back in my day, one day the Flamingo was closed, the next day was open.
Right.
Overwatch League is kind of like that. It's not going to just like not be a thing one day and then will be the next. It will likely have this like 6-month period of expanding, picking up new teams, lots of transactions, probably a highlight on a smaller pool of teams that are already established and expanding. So 2018, we get those regular teams, we get those regular games, and kind of get what was promised to us at BlizzCon 2016.
That's awesome. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Me either.
I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see that all come down. And we have more teases on a new character for Overwatch, what they are calling number 24, I believe, right? Or just 24.
Yeah.
And we have no idea what it is.
We're getting close. We're getting close. So here's what we know.
No, we're
so
not.
Far.
No, we're not. We're not getting any closer.
Yes, we are.
No.
Yes, we are.
No.
I promise you we are. If we don't see one in the next 2 weeks, I'll eat my hat.
You're not wearing a hat, number one.
But I'll eat it. So there's a few things. So in the game already, there is quite a few different references to a character called Doomfist.
Yeah.
He was first mentioned in the initial cinematic trailer, the Pixar one with the two kids in the museum.
Yep.
He was spoken about there, and then he's got some banners in Numbani. The payload that you actually you're escorting on Numbani has Doomfist's gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
And so people have been on the Doomfist hype train for quite a while, believe that Doomfist is going to be the next character. Right. He's not. Jeff Kaplan went out and said, number 24 is not who you think it is, when everyone was saying it's Doomfist, it's Doomfist. So I would say
because they got to make sure that Terry Crews has all the exact right lines.
Exactly.
And everything like that. So
I'll tell you what I think Terry Crews is up to in just a second with this next one.
Uh-oh.
Because they are teasing something new here. So last Monday, during the Hearthstone Q&A, thank you, Overwatch team, for just making me pull my hair out, because I was live blogging the Hearthstone Q&A, and they dropped this interview with 11-year-old AI and robotics prodigy Effie Oladelli. And she's an 11-year-old, very smart young girl who receives this grant, and it's an interview with an 11-year-old exactly as you would expect it to be. Not very insightful, not a whole lot. We did glean a few things from it. And then recently, I believe it was late last week, the OR-15 defense units, which are kind of basically the TSA of the Numbani airport, and they're all robotic.
Right.
Were destroyed in a confrontation with unidentified assailants at the Numbani airport, and Effie Oladelli was credited with taking the photo. So on her vacation to celebrate her grant that her parents took her on, apparently this thing happened. And Doomfist's gauntlet is missing from the payload. And if you look at the the OR-15 robot, looks like it got punched straight into that wall pretty hard by, some sort of magical gauntlet that would allow you to do such a thing.
Okay.
So people are like, oh, well, Doomfist, duh.
Right.
And then even more recently, Effie posted another thing to her HoloVid channel. That's the new version of YouTube for you hipsters out there.
Mm-hmm.
And saying time to get to work. And she's got a list of different parts, like a Branford arm, which I Googled it, and it's either a pub in New Jersey or a nursing home in Florida. So Google did not help with that at all.
I was probably near there on my trip recently. So
could have been.
Yep.
Yeah. And an age. And the OR-15 robot chassis is another thing she's looking for. She's eating some Lucy O's. the cereal with Lucio on
which
them.
I think is amazing. But I think I don't think Lucio's should be a cereal. I think it should be a pasta in a can. Lucio's.
Chef Lucio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. This is my jam. I get it. Got it. Anyways.
This is my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. There it is. So,
right.
In the end, we're expecting a new hero reveal soon. We know Effie is not the hero. And we know Doomfist is not the hero. So presumably it's this AI robot that Effie is making right now. That is my guess. And my guess is also that it's going to be a tank or a defensive hero, because we have already seen a new offensive hero in Sombra, and already support hero in Ana. We have not seen defense or tank. If I had to guess, I would say tank is what we're going to see next with robot.
They need. I think they need another tank in there, just to change it up a little bit and make sure that we're doing something different. So
yep, totally agree.
Yep. And then last, so that's everything for Overwatch this week, right?
Whew.
I think
that's a lot.
I think. All right, let's just do a brief little esports thing.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you. And then we'll get the heck out of here. So what's going on esports in your world there, Johnny?
Yeah. So in Hearthstone, the winter playoffs have finished, and next up is the Winter Championships, March 23rd through 26th at the Bahamas. The top 16 players have been decided, have punched their tickets, and will be there. So for the next month or so,
Bahamas.
And
I wish I had some. Kind of crazy.
Really awful Price is Right music.
Maybe I do have it. No, that's the wrong one. I mean,
it's still pretty close. It was the Asparagus Initiative sounder is the one that you need, I think, because that's basically.
And the beautiful Bahamas. All right. Sorry.
There it is.
That's what
very good. We're doing this live, apparently.
Well,
what would be a good sounder to do this during the live show?
We're workshopping it right now. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right.
So that's number one.
Yes.
Number two, Overwatch Apex Season 2 just finished the group stages this week.
Cool.
So we're going there. That's a like $167,000 tournament. The biggest names in Overwatch are there as well. And Blizzard in China also announced a tournament based in China that's going to be a $600,000 prize pool. $600,000. That's the largest prize pool that we've seen so far, times 2. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Very nice. All right. That's all that we have, I think, for the news for this week. So I'm going to play this one. And, John, do you have anything big coming up this week?
We do a couple things. Number one, episode 100 of Well Met is going to be happening next week. Hey, I don't know when yet.
Hold on a sec. There we go.
Hey.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. So, episode 100 will be happening, and I can't say anything yet, but as long as things stay on the current trajectory, it will be a big deal. So,
good.
Yeah, well, we should have on, hopefully, a very awesome special guest. And stay tuned to at WellMet Podcast on Twitter, because we'll be announcing it there, and it'll probably circulate like the different community blogs and stuff like that if it ends up coming true. So
that sounds mysterious. Everybody be watching out for that one. All right.
Yeah, and we do that at twitch.tv/BlizzPros, where we do Well Met and The Payload. Cool. So just follow there, too, and then you can see when our podcasts go live.
Yeah, very, very nice. And once again, I just want to say to anybody out there, if you are thinking about podcasting, or if a friend is thinking about podcasting and you want to know more about how to actually do the things that we do, head over to podcastlaunchpad.com. My quick start guide is going to be coming out next week, and it's about 30 pages of knowledge coming at you, which is kind of cool.
I've had to edit that thing like 5 times.
And it's been a process. It's been interesting. It's been fun. And now it's just about to come out. So get in on it while it's free over at podcastlaunchpad.com. Just sign up. We'll get in touch with you as soon as it's ready to go, and we'll get it to you free while supplies last, I guess.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Pat does not use the Oxford comma when he writes.
No.
Drives me nuts.
Well, so you are a big fan of the Oxford comma. I learned AP style because I was in journalism school, so I learned AP style.
I don't know. Everyone uses the Oxford comma.
Right.
I don't know what journalism schools were doing in the 90s.
All right. And so you can follow John over at Kick Tripod on Twitter. You can follow me at Pat Krane on Twitter. You can join in on the conversation we're having here anytime, really. You can email the show, converttoraid@gmail.com. Call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow the show on Twitter at converttoraid. And you can join the Bazubaguabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have downloads, forums, videos, audios, guild stuff, and so much more. All over at converttoraid.com. We are on the I of Tunes and the U of Tubes, so make sure to head over there. You can find the show over there, or actually pretty much anywhere, because we're on the internet. Not sure if you know that. Just look it up.
What's an internet?
Right. It's a series of tubes, John.
I'm going to go ask Al Gore right now.
Please do.
He invented it. So
Convert to Raid Presents is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends over at signalsmedia.com as a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Okay. Anything else before we get out of here? It was supposed to be a news break, but apparently we went on for an hour. That's just what we do.
Not a whole hour. Like 50 minutes.
Pretty much a full hour. Full hour of fun.
50 minutes. Pretty much three-quarters of an hour.
2 guys, 1 hour. What can we do? A bunch of stuff, apparently. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to do it for us and from both of us. To all of you guys out there, thank you so much for tuning in, no matter where you are. And we will see you on the next show. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.